So, R2D2 or Bender, AI assistants in business. We have here Damir Kopljar, who is head of AI at Kroz, a PhD candidate in the field of explainable AI, and a passionate drone pilot. I don't know if this is because drone or explainable AI, nobody clapped, okay. Hrvoje, you met Hrvoje already, so he was part of one of the panel discussions before. He is a software engineer, consultant, architect, educator with over 25 years in industry and academia. And recently, so he focused on the application of Gen AI technologies, wide variety of human endeavors from sales to music. So, we all heard about virtual assistants. They're kind of a kid's dream, and we saw it in movies, but it seems that they're like in real life also. So, guys, share with us, what's the deal here? Are we safe? Where are we going? Help us.
Yeah, thank you, Luka. So, hello everybody. My name is Damir, this is Hrvoje. And before we start with the presentation, I just wanted to share the story how we ended up here. So a month ago or 2 months ago, Vedana told us, AI is hype, so we need to have presentation about AI assistants or whatever you want. And I was a bit scared. AI assistants, it's new, everybody's talking around it, but we always love to talk about, things where we have a lot of experience. And yes, we did already some projects. We really tested a lot this technology internally. But still, it's really new topic. So I was a bit scared. And then when I knew I'm going to present with Hrvoje, then I asked Hrvoje, Hrvoje, how are we going to do this? And Hrvoje told me, look, I'm experienced. You hear what Luka said. Lots and lots of years. He saw many different technologies coming, changing, and whatsoever. So there's a really simple way how we do presentations like this. So at the beginning, we should have a lot of, talk around things, what works, pump up the energy, show them a lot of demos, what works, what we tried, really all the industries where this can be applicable. Then after some times you should stop. You should put a break, because you should also show them the risks, because, people will say they're just selling me something, it's a magic box. It's not. You should also show the risks and maybe how to, fix when the things are not working. And at the end, we should kind of provide some of the guidance how to ride this wave. So this is what we prepared today. Hope you will like it. The first part of the presentation will be done by Hrvoje, and then I'll do the rest. So Hrvoje, the floor is yours.
Thanks, Damir. So I get the accelerator, I get the fun part, because I had the idea. Okay, so what we are talking about today, we're talking about generative AI in different media. We will talk mostly about text, not just plain text. We will generate code and structured formats and diagrams and stuff like that. But there's a lot of development in generative AI also with audio. We did some projects with audio, with speech to text and generating, and also with images. Video is something that's quite exciting today. You saw yesterday examples of AI-generated music. And the first use case that I want to talk about is from a project of ours that generates complex data models. The idea is maybe you have an existing data model and then you want to change it, you want to enhance it, and then you can give it to a GPT model together with some examples of good generation of models and see what comes out. An updated data model, which I will show here as a class diagram just to be more visual. So let's see. These are some demo examples that I've made. They are based on real-world projects, but we are not using today real-world software. This is independent code base, so we don't compromise any confidentiality on our projects, and that we can, of course, if you're interested, show this to you. Just catch me out somewhere, find me to show an experiment with real live applications. This is just recorded video. Okay, for example, in this video we will modify a data model. This is a class diagram. You see here a vehicle. We have a car and a truck here, but we want to add another entity. We want to add a garage that can store a limited number of vehicles, and also another entity is a bus that can be a double-decker. So I just write whatever comes to mind in this text box, and when I try to generate the changes in the model, you can see here that the updated model has also been turned into a class diagram. There we have really a garage, and over there a bus. And even though I haven't really asked the large language model and directed it, it understood that it needs to be in relationship with something that already exists, that the garage should be an aggregation of vehicles, and that this bus in the lower right hand is also inheriting from the vehicle as a supertype. Okay, next example. Querying database using plain English. So we have a question, a simple question from a user, and we have an existing database with its structure. So what do? First thing, we use GPT to recognize named entities in the text of the question, and then to compare this with entities in the database to extract IDs of everything that it recognized. Together with these IDs and the data definition of the database, like create table statements, it can generate the SQL select statement. When we have the select statement, we can execute it on the database, get a result set, and then use the GPT to generate the answer from this result, and also with all the other information, structure in the database, the original question, all the recognized named entities. Unless maybe we have too many rows, then maybe we can display it as a report and not try to generate this as an answer in the form of text in English. So let's look at the demo. Here, let me see. I'm asking, do I have any customer from Germany? That's a country, I think, that hasn't spent. It's a kind of entity in the database that hasn't purchased anything in the last year, but has. I'm just reading from. But has spent at least 1,000 euros on board games. That's the type of a product in the previous two. So here you see the recognized named entities. They are not exactly the same in the database. Oh, it just moved away. Maybe I can return it back just for you to see better. Like this. Normally, it wouldn't display everything. I paused it here. Normally, we wouldn't display everything, these in-between steps. When we generate the answer, we would just give the answer right back. But I wanted to display these intermediate steps for you to see the logic between all the things. So it recognizes some named entities, and then it generates the SQL statement, it gets query results, and it gets back the answer. Okay, these are 2 customers for Germany who haven't purchased anything last year, blah, blah, blah. So these are just generated names. I hope I didn't hit anyone especially. The most important, or not the most important, but the most advanced use case that we use for these assistants are the AI agents. They use large language models to do multi-step reasoning, where we use agents to create plans on how would they solve specific tasks, specific mini projects. And they have some tools which are basically programs that they can use to achieve their goals using their predefined plans. And they can have some long-term memory, they can store some things to retrieve later to execute an action. This is one of more complex demos. For example, here we can define an agent that would forward all the angry emails that come to the company to the director, in this case. So we are asking first for the agent to come up with a plan on how it will do that thing. And when we create an agent, then we simulate one simple inquiry into the company. So we will create, as a test, an email that comes into the system. So the GPT will write an example of an email, and the agent would react to that email, but the condition will not be met, so nothing happens, basically. And it generates explanation why it didn't really react to that email. But then we will try to generate an angry email, so you won't have to read, but it's a really angry email. And in this case, you can see, oh, condition met, yes, the email expresses strong dissatisfaction. So we simulate the knowledge base to return the email address of the director. So the agent uses the knowledge base as it was before. And let me get it back. And then it executes an action, forwards to that email address of the director, which is just found out by querying the knowledge base. Okay, so this is obviously slower and much more costly than the zero-shot approach, in which you can just, for example, ask ChatGPT specific question, or maybe do the things with the SQL or other approaches. But it increases performance on difficult tasks. These are some of improvements. The gray bars represent GPT 3.5 and 4 zero-shot attempts at solving some cognitive tasks, specifically programming tasks. And these are much better results with agentic architecture. And this is really exciting because this reasoning ability that the GPT has, it's very important on more complex tasks. And you probably saw some graphs like this which show great, you cannot maybe see it from the last, but these high dark columns are the GPT-4 model performance on human tests, basically, across different domains, from math to LSAT and writing and stuff like that. When this gives great expectations on the model to really can be used as independent agents in solving assistant type issues for anything that the business user might need. So back to you, Damir.
I mean, now we are coming to the break. So this was the enthusiasm. So I wanted to also show a few examples. I mean, when GPTs or LLMs or AI in general is not working. So Hrvoje showed you a really good example that, I mean, LLMs are passing on bar exam, passing on SAT. So a lot of real human tests that are, for us, really hard. And LLMs are doing really good job. So I said, okay, let's test this. I mean, greet me in Croatian, but backwards. I think anyone that's above, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 years can do this. But I mean, GPT, yes, even though it says Croatian, Dobar dan is in Croatian, so it tried, But I mean, no, it failed. So it couldn't do a task of writing it backwards. So I was like, okay, we are passing the bar exam, but we cannot solve super simple tasks. So can we fix this? I mean, it's a real issue. So Hrvoje told you, I mean, yes, there are some techniques like, you know, please split the process into multiple steps. So we tried again, and we said, okay, let's split this task into step by step. And one of the steps will be really, you know, do character by character, write that word or words, and then try to reverse it, and then try to combine it, and let's see if it will solve it. And for those of you who are cannot read Croatian, it's a good job here. So it was really reasoning as the human would solve this task, character by character. So, I mean, and now there's a question of, is this really, you know, just by using these techniques, so if we apply it anywhere, it will always fix the problem? Not so. So why did it solve this problem? So it solved this problem because we understood how the technology is working. So LLMs are just the tools. I mean, AI is not the magic. So if we take a look at how any AI is working, we are predicting something. So LLMs are predicting next token. Token can be a character, token can be a word, token can be a subword. So in this case, if we take Dobar dan, we can see by the coloring that D is one token, Obar is second token, dan is third token. And if you try to, you know, just do it vice versa, I mean, this isn't, for LLM, this is a really hard task because, yeah, it's trying to kind of change it up, but I mean, this is not what we want. I mean, to solve this problem, you need to split it character by character and then do vice versa, and then we are doing really good. So we instruct the GPT to work how human would work, character by character. Tokenization would be just as we were kind of expecting, and then the problem is easy or easier, and we can solve the problem. So I mean, combination of really instructing the GPT, but also understanding how this technology, how this tool is working, is really helping us to improve and get the results that we want. But this is just one problem, the performance. The second problem that everybody's talking is hallucination. So yes, it's been here, so I also wanted to test it up. I asked GPT, okay, what do you know about the QAD? And the English is really good. I mean, if you read this paragraph, so it's really like good English, but the context-wise, it's completely not correct. So it's like question, explore, discover. This is not QAD. Talking about skepticism and critical thinking, physical biology, I mean, it's nonsense. But then, what we said, I mean, for some of the tasks, if we know how the technology is working, so it was trained by using, you know, data that was crawled all over the world, probably QAD website was not in. And even if it was in, for sure, this version of the QAD, so info about this year's conference, was not in. So, I mean, just showing this picture that it doesn't work, it's just, you know, mimicking for the slides. If we really want to solve the problem, we need to think, you know, how to solve it, and then choose the right tools. So LLMs can be combined with the tools. One of the tools can be a search engine. So you can go to search engine, retrieve the data about, you know, crawl the website. It can go to Bing, Google, whatsoever, get the data about the QAD, and then the answer is really good. So the second one is really quality in enterprise development, May 5 to 7, and even the latest data, like really the theme of the conference is playground. So yes. And if we just this first part try to summarize, I mean, yes, I mean, LLMs are really a book smart high schooler, so yeah, they learned a lot, and they can repeat that back. But you know, they also have this Bayesian reasoning. So if you combine it with, you know, retrieving the data that it needs to get an answer, if you give it a really clear instructions, and for the tasks where you know that GPT will not work, you use the right tools like calendar, calculator, and stuff like that, it can do amazing things. And then there's a question, okay, if we can solve a lot of problems, any enterprise can ask, okay, should I buy? Should I build? I mean, there's already 1,000 startups that are trying to solve every niche and every problem. So should I just, you know, swipe a card and buy, you know, most of those, or should I build it because it looks like you can also build a lot of cool stuff? I mean, it depends. I always say, like, if you can really buy something that can fix your problem, then I mean, buy it if it's cheaper. But there's also a big question, and one of the problems in this area is the privacy. So what happens with your data? What has happened with all those startups that are trying to solve the problem is that if you read the small print, I mean, each and every or most majority of them will say that they will use your data to improve their services, their models. So I mean, your data that's maybe confidential, that's, I mean, that you don't want anybody training on, will be used. So this sentence that data is the new oil, that was, I think, 5 to 10 years ago, I think now, I mean, it's still a new oil because it's even more important today. I mean, if you want to build it, there's many patterns that are already showing up. I'll not go into details, but I mean, as I said, it's an engineering problem. It's not magic. There are many patterns, tasks, and tactics that you can use to build agents like this. And decision is really what you want, what is the core problem, and kind of how we solve it up. So yeah, this was kind of tuning the enthusiasm, and we are coming to the last part of the presentation. So what can we do? What should we do? There's a lot of questions about, I mean, AI is doing a lot of stuff. What will the human do? But there are really a lot of things humans still need to do with AIs. So one of the first tasks that we as a human should do, we should align it, kind of. We know what the problem is. We know, how to, how we should think about that problem, and then we should kind of just give and describe the problem, break it down into the pieces, and align AI with what we need. The second thing that we need to control. I showed you. There are mistakes, so there are hallucinations, there are errors, factual, so we need to control it. We need to monitor how the LLMs are working, how the product is working, that it's having AI, and we should act accordingly. Try to fix it, try to improve it when we see the errors. And the last thing is that we should also, finish. So as we know, you can also get the productivity gain by doing 80%, that AI is doing 80%. So some human, whether this will be the client, whether this will be us, or somebody who's doing product for the client, somebody will need to finish. And you need to, when you're building an app, you need to have that in mind. Most of us are, developers for quite some time, even before AI, and are thinking, in this traditional software engineering mindset. And when we are developing in that mindset, it means that we love to think in a, certainty for us is, that what we learned. So when I click button, I know the pop-up will appear. When user clicks, and if it's logged in, then show him offer an A. When we are working with AI, we work with probabilities. We are never sure, what will happen. Even for the same inputs, LLMs may return different values. And when we are designing UX, UI, the whole product, how we get to when we are designing it, we need to have this in mind, that we're working with probabilities and we need to think about plan A, plan B, and stuff like that. And the last one, last year we had a presentation from Sanjin. He's working in Bain, partnering globally with OpenAI. So I called Sanjin, you're working with clients all over the world. So, what do you see on a global level? And he told me, look, everybody's exploring. There's no firm that's kind of not trying the technology. And in many industries, in many use cases, it really works. The productivity is there, the ROI is there. So it's really cool. But the ones who are having the best results are the ones who are not just using the tool to plug it in to show, yes, we are using AI, we are an AI company, AI product, but the ones who are really thinking deeply about the problem and then, completely trying to solve that problem by finding the best way to implement AI, and from the UX, from the development, from the, design and stuff like that. So to answer this question of what that niche, what that problem should be, you will need, it depends on what you are, what your product is, you will need to kind of answer this question on your own. But to kind of help you think about this problem, I think we can get back to the theme of the conference, which is play. And I think everybody will talk that you should play with the data, play with ideas. But what we are saying, Hrvoje and I, is you can also try to use AI. So let AI play with your ideas, let AI play with your data. Maybe let AI also with the things that you find exciting, and also things that's boring to you. Maybe for AI it will be okay. That's it from our side. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Great talk. Great talk. So, do we have any questions from the audience? Okay, yeah, please, you have a question? Yeah. Okay, I have a question. We didn't prepare this, of course. So, we worked on 2 projects together, on AI-related projects. And I would like for both of you to highlight, so what is the biggest challenge? So you showed us the hype, you showed us the risks, you showed us the guidance or the recommendations, what to focus on. So on your skin, so what would you highlight like the biggest thing we need to address when we start this type of a project with the client? Either building a service, either building a product, or just either introducing play and experimentation as a practice?
Yeah, sure. I can start. So, I mean, Luka was partially in sales, partially in product, but for us it's always talking about, expectations and what this technology is. For me, it was really cool because before Gen AI, to solve any problem with AI, it takes time. You need to prepare the data, prepare the model, experiment a lot. I mean, the similar things as you do here, but to get to a demo, maybe, it took a month or 2. Now it's weeks, which is cool. And then you show this to somebody, and which is nice. They're super, super happy. But then appetites are rising really fast. And then this expectation of, where it's applicable, where it's really helping. And then for me, the challenge is that people are sometimes treating this as a magic wand that it will solve any problem just by typing any question. And then we need to work on that, yes. But it's a really nice tool still.
Well, I would agree with Damir. It's a new technology. It's more than new technology. It's a new paradigm of how to do business for the clients, but also from us, from the technology side, also from any kind of management, project management level. You need to have your eyes open on the back of your head and on the old sides, because new issues arise with every new project. So this I don't know how to call it. It really is exciting. It really has so much potential, but you really don't know from which side there will be some surprises that are perhaps detrimental for the project. From consistency level to issues when you try to find the edge of what's possible, because if you do it on the easy side, people develop appetite, as Damir has said, and if you go over that line, imaginary line, then people get disillusioned, and it's hard to manage these expectations from every level.
Okay, so don't be afraid. Start, experiment, but also align expectations and be patient. Yeah, one question?
One more question. How do you do quality assurance in this world? Is it possible, automated quality assurance, for example? Or?
I mean, for sure, any project that we are doing, we are kind of putting this as a mandatory thing. Even though some people don't want to pay or spend some time to do a quality assurance because, you know, on few examples it works. And it is the same way with any AI. So even though this looks magical, I mean, it's still AI. So how they are training it, I mean, they're training, the model is having loss function that you can kind of do the derivation and get whether it's good or not. And this is how we also, from the business side, can take a lot of examples, make a test set, and really show to the client, look, on this set it's doing 80%, 90%, 10%, you know, you can show the metrics. As the Hrvoje was showing, for all the tests, like for the bar exam, you have the metrics, but you need, again, to spend some time, get the data, label the data, and it's a painful, slow process, but I mean, if you want to share, there is a way how to do it. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. A round of applause for our team.